Гледате интервју на Makfax. Разговарам со американскиот судија Џон Ентон, кој е во посета на Република Северна Македонија. Judge Џон, welcome and thank you very much for accepting this invitation.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
First of all, tell me, is it hard to become a judge in the USA?
It is. Judges are carefully vetted, candidates are carefully vetted, and I'm fortunate enough to have made it through that vetting a couple of times. So I went through a state judicial selection process, which was a little bit different from the federal process. But in each case, a group of people, this is true of Florida, I don't know if it's true of other places, but a group of people, a committee made up of lawyers and non-lawyers, reviews applications, and of those applicants selects a number to be interviewed. And then when I went through the state system, that committee that did the interviewing was required to submit 3 names to the governor. The governor then interviewed the 3 candidates and made a selection. In the meantime, the governor and his staff receive information and that helps them in making the decision.
Okay.
The federal system is a little bit more complicated. It was when I went through. I'm not sure how it works now. A little bit more complicated, but essentially the committee was a fair representation of members of the bar and laymen and the lay public, and they did an interview, made a recommendation to the senior senator of the president's party, and then the president made a nomination. Then a Senate confirmation hearing was required.
To what extent the integrity of the judges is important in your country?
I think the public trust in the judiciary is essential. I think it's essential to a functioning democracy.
What can be done to discard political influence on judiciary?
I don't think that there is much in the way of political influence on the United States judiciary, the federal courts. I'm not aware of any of my colleagues who have been influenced by political views in making a decision, and I certainly have not. Now, it's true that the appointing authority has a certain political ideology and probably prefers judges who share his or her views. I'm not saying that people don't come in with ideas that may be favored or disfavored by the various political parties. But as far as making decisions, my experience is that judges try to and succeed in making decisions that are based on the law and the facts of the cases.
Well, the situation in North Macedonia is a little bit different, but we can discuss after. How do American judges declare the assets in their possession list? It will be very interesting for our viewers to
well, on all 3 courts that I served, judges are required to make an annual financial disclosure. It was relatively simple in the state of Florida. It was a summary of assets and an income tax return. The obligation in the federal courts is considerably more onerous. It's a long document. It requires detailed description. Many judges get help to make sure that it's correct from accountants and experts, and then that's a matter of public record.
Is there any specific case of misuse of this procedure maybe in the history?
If there is, I'm not aware of it.
Okay. Well, please imagine a situation where the name of some judges appear in the wiretap scandal, for example, in the USA. What would it happen with these judges?
We have a presumption of innocence, and everybody is entitled to equal treatment under the law. So that's what the rule of law is about. So in a criminal proceeding, everybody should be treated the same, regardless of title or wealth or power. In the United States, if a judge were implicated in a criminal activity, there would be a proceeding available. I should say there are mechanisms available by which a judge could be relieved of his or her duties pending the outcome of a case. So with regard to their duties, there may be some intervening action taken, but as far as the criminal proceeding, it would be treated as any other if it went that far.
Okay. What about the moral responsibility, maybe?
Well, I think judges have a responsibility to at least try to be beyond reproach. I think we have a very high duty, perhaps higher than any other office in government. I can only speak for what I would do, but if I were implicated in a criminal investigation, I would bring it to the attention of my supervising judge and request that I be relieved from my duties pertaining to any criminal cases. But depending on what the accusation was, I might even go further.
Are you for the first time in North Macedonia?
This is my first trip to your beautiful country, and I'm so pleased. I'm pleased with the food. I'm pleased with the wonderful people I've met. I've only got a glimpse of the wonderful natural attractions you have, but I do plan on visiting lakes and rivers before I leave.
Judge Џон, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.